to thank everyone for coming out today. Another, exciting time here in Louisville with our men playing today, and then us getting started with our first practice before starting the tournament tomorrow. We're just really looking forward to this. Really looking forward to our crowd for tomorrow. And I've challenged them not to only be at the noon game, but make sure they stay for the second game also, to show everybody, what the fan base is all about here at Louisville. I think, both games deserve as many fans as we can get to be out there cheering them on, because it's, four really good teams. You don't make it to this time of the year by accident.
Good deal. Thanks, Coach. Let's go in the front row here, Gary.
Gary Griffiths, Associated Press. First of all, Jeff, have you chosen a place that you want to watch the game close by?
Still working on that right now.
Okay. And how calm or how emotional do you figure you're going to be during the game, being on the outside looking in?
Oh, I'm going to be fine. We've had a year to prepare for this. It's not like we just found out three days ago. We actually went through a dry run during the non-conference season where Steph took care of everything. She did the pregame talk. She did all the substitutions. She did the play calling. She did the halftime talk. I actually enjoyed it. It's one of those things when you sit there and you do it. I just sat in the middle of the bench, and I was able to sit with the players and actually give them some insight that I'm normally not able to, because you're out there trying to watch the game as a coach, figure out what you're going to do next. Where when they came out of the game, I was actually able to sit down and talk to them about, hey, that read you made, here's what you should have looked for. Steph's been with me for 12 years. I mean, we've got a great group of young women who have respect for everybody on this staff. So we have a game plan, and I tell everybody, as a coach, you put your game plan in before you go play. What has to take place during the game is making adjustments. And I feel completely confident with my staff that they're going to be able to do that.
Paul
Lee Cardinal Couple. Coach, can you give us an update status on both Erica and Sam?
Yeah, Sam, first on Sam. Sam's doing great. She practiced full go yesterday, looked really good. She's taped up, but she says she feels good. Erica ran yesterday at 100% body weight. Went back to the doctor today. We'll wait to see what he says about the next step of cutting, planting. But she says she feels good. So if she's cleared, then we're set to go.
There's always talk about the 24-hour rule after a win or a loss, but how much did you really stress to your team putting the ACC tournament behind them and really looking forward to this and just saying, this is what's important now?
Well, when you go into that game and we're without Erica, and we find out 30 minutes before tip she's not going to play, and then Sam Fearing goes down with a sprained ankle, plays 12 minutes. We're not, without those two, we aren't good enough to compete with them. I mean, it's just a fact. Notre Dame's one of the best teams in the country for a reason. So it's one of those, we went back, we looked at the film, and hey, here's some things we have to get better at, because it doesn't matter who you play. But we have pieces to a puzzle on this team. We're not always going to have the best 5 players on the floor, but we think we have possibly the best team when you put all the pieces together. And when you have Erica not out there, we didn't have any time to make any adjustments of how we were going to counter that. That's a big piece of our puzzle not there. Then Sam goes out. It's difficult for us. But when everybody's out there doing what they do and they do it well, we're a pretty darn good basketball team. The saying we have with our program is whatever you do well, do it. And whatever you don't do well, don't let anybody see it. And that's one of the things we try and live by. And we've done a pretty darn good job of that throughout this season. But when you lose 2 key players, it's difficult. And we were playing a really good basketball team, so they took advantage of that and beat us.
Coach, since the ACC tournament, you've had a little extended time, more than usual, off before your next game. What are some of the things that you all have worked on and practiced on?
Well, we took a little time off, just like I think everybody did, to just try and, get kids fresh. It was really nice for Eric and Sam to be able to have that time to recover with rehab and doctor's appointments and make sure that they're set to go. And then before the draw on Monday, it gives you 3 or 4 days to just work on yourself, because you don't know who you're going to play, so you can't start preparing for anybody. But it just gave us time to work on things that we needed to improve on. So it was a good 3 or 4 days of practice. They weren't real long. They were intense, but it wasn't a 3-4 hour practice, anything like that. And then when you find out about the draw, on Monday, then all of a sudden, things pick up a little bit when you know who you're going to play. So now you've got to work on some films and break down and start preparing a game plan.
Hey, Coach, Adam Gusky, ESPN Pittsburgh. What's your impression of Robert Morris from what you've seen on film?
Well, I'm really impressed with how well they're coached. I'm really impressed with how they defend. They know who their best players are, and I say that as a compliment, because you scout and you watch teams play, and it's like their best player doesn't touch the ball. They're getting it to their go-to player, and that's what I like to see when I'm scouting someone. I'm like, okay, do the other players on their team know who our best player is? And at Rob or Morris, there's no doubt that they do. You've got the player of the year, defensive player of the year, and she's pretty darn impressive. So we have watched a lot of film to make sure our kids understand nobody's playing at this time of year by accident. You're good. And, I love the way they run their offense. They'll attack you when it's there, but then they'll make you defend too. And as soon as you fall asleep, it's a layup. You've got to be on your toes. You can't be on your heels, allowing them to dictate what Robert Morris wants to do. And defensively, they're the best defensive team in that league. They play good, hard man-to-man. They'll break things up. They'll do different variations at times on ball screens and things like that. But overall, I just like how they compete, and that's one thing when I look for a team at a team on film. I like to see are they competitors? When things get tight, do they keep fighting? And that's one thing I see in that ball club.
Coach, by the same token, you know who your best players are, but with injuries, who do you need to really step up, or will you find yourself kind of looking deeper when you're back on the bench, at your bench, maybe toward the end, to try to get more offense, more defense?
Well, we'll see what AC's status is going to be. But you look at Mikasa. I think she's been playing extremely well for us, and she's a kid that can play 1 through 4 just because of her strength. Then you've got Dana, who can start in any program. She's just been such a spark for us coming off the bench, a 6th man of the year in the ACC. Kylie Shook and Jazz are two that we're going to need to continue to play well and pick things up at both the offensive and defensive ends of the floor. Asia, we all know that. Sam is feeling 100%, so I'm excited for that. It's going to, like I've said, our margin for error is thin. It's always been thin, and everybody laughs at me when I say that, but it's the truth. We have to play well in order to advance in this tournament. Doesn't matter who we're playing. We can't go out and assume we're going to beat anybody, because we can get beat by anybody. We have to do what we do well and do it and take pride in it. And if what you do well is screening, set good screens. If you're a defender, defend. I tell our kids at the beginning of the year, every single year, there's only one leading scorer on a team. There's only one. So if your goal is to be the leading scorer, only one of you can do it. So who wants to be our best screener? Who wants to be our best defender? And that's what we've talked about as this year's gone on, hey, this is what I need from you. And our kids have bought into it, and that's why we've had the success.
Time for a couple more? Unless you're good, we'll let Coach
Polly, no more.
Gary? Gary's good.
Me again.
That's okay, I appreciate it.
Coach, just to kind of
Hey, you interrupted, young man.
oh, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Hey, will you help me?
Hand me the microphone.
Oh, you can't trust him over there. Yes, Gary.
And likewise.
Okay, Polly, what do you got, big guy?
You first.
He's passing the mic to you. Okay.
Coach, just to dispel any rumors or anything, is it true that you purchased a blonde wig and fake beard to sneak in here?
No, that is not true. I'm going to watch this ball game, and I'm not quite sure where I'm going to watch it yet. I'm still working on a few things, and I'm going to enjoy it. I told my staff it's a great opportunity for them, to show everybody that, hey, we have a good staff here, not just a head coach, but I've got wonderful assistants that can do the job.
Now, will they let you come back in to watch the second game?
Yes, I am allowed back in after the completion of our game. I've got to go directly to the scouting seats. I'm not allowed to be a part of any media after the game, which is fine. And then I can watch the second game and scout. Yes, if needed. If we don't win, I'm not coming back. I'm not sure if staff will either. I put some pressure on it. I think pressure is good. But like I said, it's one thing. I never take anything for granted in the NCAA tournament. You're foolish if you do. There's too many good teams. There's a reason everybody's still playing at this time of the year, because they're winning basketball games. And we are fully dialed in, understanding Robert Morris is a really good basketball team.
Along that line, with the one and done nature of this tournament, to be on the outside looking in, I guess, have you had a chance to kind of reflect on a possible missed opportunity? Like, say, if this is your last game with these people, with your players, that you might not be there with them, because of what happened last spring.
No, I don't. That's not something that I think about. And it very well could happen. But last spring, I was trying to defend my kids in a ball game that was a tough one. I think, as everyone knows, that who has seen it, who watched it, and I voiced my displeasure. And I said some things I probably shouldn't have said. I may have used some colorful language, and they fined me for it and gave me my one game suspension, and that's their choice, and that's fine. I understand that, but I'm not going to look back and if something would happen today and be like, gosh, man, that was bad. No, I was defending my kids, and I'll always defend them. Just might not use the same language.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
your time. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, we'll have